Hello everyone, Britt here from Scrappy Stamps, and today we're going to do a tutorial of the little box with lid die set. This box is easy to put together, so let's get started and cut our pieces. First, we're going to cut the box lid piece one time. The lid piece is shorter and wider than your other larger piece in this die set. Second, we'll cut the base of the box one time. This is the largest die in your set. Next, we'll cut the smallest stitched label once. This label fits perfectly in the base of your box, and it can be used in a variety of ways, like adding contrasting patterns or colors to the inside of your box, or even a personal message to the bottom. Lastly, we will take the larger stitched label, and for this example, we will cut it twice. This one fits perfectly on the top of the box, giving you more opportunities to add personal messages or contrasting patterns and colors. The smaller label also fits nicely on the box top, giving you extra options, and the two labels can be stacked together, giving you a nice matted look. We're going to use these labels later to finish off our project and give it some dimension, but first let's assemble our box. When you cut the main pieces of your box, you'll notice that the die pre-scores it for you. Before we add the adhesive, we're going to fold at all of the score lines. This makes the piece easier to assemble because it's easiest to fold when the piece is still flat. You'll fold all of the flaps in towards the wrong side of the cardstock, or you can think of it as folding in toward the inside of the box. You'll also want to make sure everything is folding up evenly across the score lines and lining up to ensure that your box will be square when the project is done. Paying a little bit of attention to squaring up the box nicely ensures that the top and the bottom of the box will fit together as designed, and that when the project is finished, your box will sit evenly on the table. Once you've creased all the score lines, we're ready to add some adhesive and start putting everything together. Now, I like to put my liquid glue in some strategic places, but we're going to do this 4 times, so if you don't catch it the first time, it's no big deal. We'll start with those small sort of triangular shapes at the end of each side and apply some glue sparingly to the right side of the cardstock. Then we'll turn the piece over and apply glue to the top segment of the larger flap. Again, don't worry, you will get to practice this 3 more times. Pinch the shorter side slightly to square everything up, then wrap the longer end with the segments around the 2 short triangle pieces. Those little triangle tabs will be encased inside the shorter end. I like to press it flat to the table, waiting a few seconds and applying enough pressure so that the box will hold together when we assemble the other side. We then repeat those steps, applying dots of glue to the triangle tabs and a bit more to the top segment of that long flap on the end. Then we pinch it to square it up and then fold that segmented tab over towards the center of the box, trapping the 2 triangle tabs inside. And once again, you'll apply some pressure to the flap until the glue has dried enough to hold your box together. Once you're done admiring it, set it aside and we can begin assembling the box top. As we did with the base, we'll pre-fold at all of the score lines, folding in towards the wrong side of the cardstock. For this top piece, I'm using a bone folder to make sure that I get clean folds on this cardstock. I'm using the 6x6 paper pad from the Spa Day collection from Scrappy Stamps. I love the thick weight of it and the semi-gloss finish, but I do recommend that you use a bone folder when you are putting folds into this kind of cardstock. It'll help the creases be smoother. And just like the base, we want everything to be as square as possible so that the box will go together as it was designed. I love the paper from the Spa Day collection. It has all kinds of little makeup and other motifs like that. For this box, the bubbles will be on the outside, but in another example I'll show you later, I did use those little nail polish bottles on the outside of the box instead of the inside. Now, the construction of this part of the box is very similar to the base, with the main difference being that the segments and tags are smaller, and we're going to end up folding in all 4 sides for the finished look instead of just the 2 short ends like we did with the base. So we get our liquid glue, and just like we have been, we'll apply a dot of glue to the right side of the 2 triangular tabs, then turn it wrong side up and apply more glue to the top segment of the fold. Then pinch the sides to square it up and wrap the flap around the 2 tabs. This traps the triangular tabs inside. Again, you'll want to hold or clip this together until the glue dries enough to hold all of the pieces in place. The glossy finish on this cardstock definitely means it might take a few seconds more than it would with regular matte cardstock. And if you're having trouble being patient and want to move on to the next steps, you could always use a paper clip to hold it together until it finishes fully drying. Once the first side is holding together, we'll turn the box to the other short end and repeat those steps once again. Although any liquid glue would work here, I do recommend something with a short drying time so you don't have to spend a lot of time holding the project together and waiting for it to dry. As you can see, once you do your first one of these and get the steps down, you can make a ton of these in one sitting. I ended up making a whole little set when I did mine, and that's mostly because I started and kind of couldn't stop. Once both of the shorter ends of the box are put together and holding strong, it's really easy to finish up our lid. Since there are no small tabs on this side, the only step is to apply glue to the remaining flap and then fold it in, applying pressure until the adhesive starts to hold it together. You'll do the same steps to the remaining flap, and then once that is holding, this is a good time to make sure that everything is squared up, so when you go to put the top on the base, everything will fit together as it was designed. And of course, the most satisfying part is finally getting to put that box top on the base and having a completed project. From here, you can let your imagination be your guide, but I wanted to remind you about the labels and show you how we're going to use them to step this project up. Of course, the most classic way to use these labels is to be able to put a stamped image on the top, write a personal message, or even stamp a sentiment. You could do a lot of really cute personalization with people's names or maybe even a date, and it's nice that both of the label sizes fit on the top of the box, so you can get some slightly different looks depending on what you choose. When I saw the Cute Girl Spa Day collection, I knew I wanted to make a set of little favor boxes perfect for a spa party. I really wanted to include all of the cute little images from the stamp set. And utilizing the labels in a creative way gave me more real estate to play with. To create this look, you'll need to cut 2 of the large and 1 small label shape. You'll then apply double-sided adhesive to the front and the back of the plain cardstock label. Then you'll remove the backing paper and you will attach the 2 large label shapes wrong sides together. You want these to fit together exactly. You're basically just making a stronger double-sided label that we're going to use as the base to attach our image. Next, you'll flip it over to the plain cardstock side and remove the protective backing from that adhesive before layering on the smaller label. The 2 labels vary enough in size that when stacked on top of each other, they give a matted look. Now it's time to attach the label to our box. Since the design I decided on was going to rely heavily on whatever adhesive I used to attach the label, it was a no-brainer to use red line tape. This is a strong, dry, permanent adhesive that's great for applications just like this one. I used 2 strips of red line tape, but that's mostly because my red line tape is only 1/8 of an inch in width, but a larger width like a 1/4 inch would work fine with only 1 strip. Just a little tip, strong adhesives do tend to work better if some pressure is applied when first adhered. Running my bone folder over it really seemed to do the trick. Now the second tip for adhesive like this is that once it's stuck, it's pretty much stuck. So I laid my box top down in order to make sure that everything was going to line up straight. Then I used sort of a rocking motion to press the side of my box to the adhesive and then burnished with my bone folder to get that really strong hold. From there, it was pretty much all the embellishing. I love this little cute girl in the bathtub. She's my favorite, so I colored her to look like me. I popped her up with a little bit of foam tape and then added a sentiment. It's a little hard to read here, but the sentiment says, "I like big tubs and I cannot lie." I get that song stuck in my head every time I read it. So if you got it stuck in your head too, I'm sorry, and you're welcome. As a finishing touch, I pulled out some cute, funky ribbon that I had laying around. I know ribbon isn't used quite as much anymore, but I've been crafting a long time, and sometimes I miss it. I cut it long enough to just create a little no bow knot on top. But if you're recreating this project, feel free to put all the bows that you want. And if you're done with ribbon for good, feel free to leave it off. After all, I'm not the boss of you. Crafting is supposed to make you happy, so do what makes you smile. I wish I could tell you I had a lot of bow tying tips, but as you can see, I'm a little out of practice. For this project, it was all about perseverance. I really wanted those ribbons on there, so I just kept going until I made it happen. Once I got my ribbon tied, I snipped it off in a little diagonal to keep the ribbon from fraying, and we're all done. I thought these were so cute. I had to make one for every single one of the little spa girls. My idea was maybe for a little girl's birthday party, or even a big girl's birthday party. It's really the perfect size for some candy, or maybe a little bracelet or a pair of earrings. But I wanted to follow the spa theme, and one of those small bottles of gel nail polish fits in there perfectly. If you made it to the end of the video, thank you so much for joining me today. This little box and lid is only a small part of the new release over at scrappyboystamps.com. This month, it's all about 80s icons, magic mirrors, and a little bit of self-care with these cute little spa girls. Look in the description box below to find us on Facebook and Instagram, and make sure you follow all the accounts so you don't miss any of the inspiration by our amazing design team. Lastly, don't forget to like and comment on this video and follow the Scrappy Boy YouTube channel so you don't miss any new uploads. Do you want these new dies and stamps? Then be like the spa girls and treat yourself. Bye-bye.